Imagine seeing LeBron James pull up to the 49ers sideline wearing 49ers gear this coming season. Given all the LeBron to Golden State hype, this actually might be close to happening. And I just sit here thinking the 49ers, they signed Mike Evans, future Hall of Famer, this offseason. They re signed Trent Williams, future Hall of Famer this offseason. Not too much younger than LeBron James, by the way. The parallels between the 49ers and the Warriors, they might really be there. And sign me up for the matchup of old legends against new age players. Any professional sport, any day. I'd love to see it with LeBron and Steph in the NBA. And I think that we're going to get to see it with the 49ers offense, oldest unit in the league, against the NFL this season. Now, NFL rosters are big enough to where the 49ers have the third youngest defense. But before they modernize that offensive side of the ball, probably this next offseason, why not let Mike Evans, 33 years old, Trent Williams, 38 years old, have their crack at it? Established legends bring intelligent perspective. That's how they've lasted in their respective sports for so long. Mike Evans, for example.
Love Brock, man. He's a big reason why I came here. I said that in my initial Zoom call with you guys. Throws a really great ball. I'm getting the timing down with him now. Super smart. He's about his business too. Comes to work every single day. He's a quiet guy, but me and him talk, about not just football, but life. And really cool guy. Look forward to having a great connection with him this year.
Evans took significantly less money to play for the 49ers than what was offered to him to stay in Tampa Bay, because he knows that Kyle Shanahan is the real deal. As you heard there, he knows that Brock Purdy is the real deal. And we should listen to Mike Evans because he's put up 11 straight 1,000-yard receiving seasons in his career. The only other wide receiver to do that is Jerry Rice. But as far as impact on a team goes, I think there's a solid chance that Mike Evans has a stronger, bigger, positive impact on the 49ers than even Myles Garrett will have on the Rams. Why is that? Well, because the 49ers were severely deficient at the X wide receiver position, thanks in large part to somebody named Brandon Ayuk, but they were severely deficient there over the past two seasons. Evans fills a specific hole that was a glaring position of need for the 49ers in a way that San Francisco has not seen it filled ever since Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch took over as head coach. Just listen to Brock Purdy talking about Mike Evans.
Extremely smart, and I feel like overthrowing him isn't really a thing. We saw so many catches in OTAs where he just got up with his length and the radius that he has. He's unique. He's a Hall of Famer.
It's an addition that can absolutely unlock the 49ers offense, both through the pass game and the run game and the intertwined nature of both, especially as they relate to Brock Purdy's accuracy, because he can take advantage of a receiver who can go up and get the football. It's also an addition that ties into the past. Trent Williams, long before he joined the 49ers, in a younger part of his NFL career, actually trained with Mike Evans in the off seasons.
Mike Evans is a Hall of Fame player. And, you don't find too many players that while they're still playing, you can confidently say they're going to be a Hall of Fame player. So having one of them on our team, another one on our team, so to say that, I mean, it means a lot. I mean, his presence, just what he's done over the years, like, it's hard for a lot of kids, not like younger guys, not to fangirl over a guy like that. When and even myself, I watched him from afar. Where we trained together early in his career, like worked out a few times. So I've known him for the duration of his career, but just to watch his success over the years and watch how he's been a consistent talent in his league and breaking the records. I think he tied Jerry Rice. Like he just did a lot of things that probably going to be a lot of one-offs, and so just to have him in the building, to see how he's out there running around, to see. Coach put him up on the big board today. In OTAs in year, 13, 14, like taking it as seriously as he did. That's to me is an example of why he is who he is.
Now, speaking of perspective, Mike Evans obviously has it in his position, but so does Trent Williams. And when Trent spoke a few weeks ago at the 49ers offseason program, he really set proper expectations for this 2026 season that might surprise a lot of media members and a lot of fans who forgot just how much injuries impacted San Francisco last year. A reporter asked Trent Williams about overcoming adversity in 2026. And I thought Trent's matter-of-fact answer was really good. It wasn't about adversity in his mind. It was about the 49ers flexing their muscles.
I would hope that we don't have to show how resilient we are. I hope that we can show how dominant we are and how dominant we can be and how dominant we should be. And, with the offseason we've had, the players we've added, I think we got a good chance to go out there and show that. But, showing that you can fight through adversity is always good, and it's something that you take pride in. But nobody wants adversity, right? So hopefully we don't got to fight through all those injuries and stuff, and hopefully we can just kind of, be the team that we know we are.
And he's absolutely right. The 49ers, before Nick Bosa and Fred Warner went down, that Seattle game last year to open the season is Exhibit A. They dominated the Seattle Seahawks statistically. They would have won the game by multiple possessions had they already moved on from Jake Moody to Eddie Pinheiro at kicker. But they beat the eventual Super Bowl champions on the road without a perfect performance. And those were the eventual dominant Super Bowl champions. We saw what the Seattle Seahawks did later in the season. So Trent Williams is exactly right. The 49ers can be a dominant team if everyone is available. In fact, the 49ers have more A-list players on this roster than they've had at any point of the Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch era. And that's saying something. And it may be setting up a really, really cool parallel if the Warriors are able to land LeBron James and Anthony Davis to join Steph Curry and Draymond Green. But if you look at the 49ers roster, I've got the A-list players, the foundational pillars highlighted in yellow. Purdy, McCaffrey, Juszczyk, obviously Evans, obviously George Kittle, who's less than a year younger than Mike Evans. Trent Williams, we've heard from him. Osa Odighizuwa added this offseason. Nick Bosa, Fred Warner, Diamador Lenore. Who knows? Maybe even Malik Mustafa can announce his arrival into that group. Maybe Upton Stout. It's about the young players, too, especially in the NFL, where the rosters are bigger than in the NBA. But I think that we should just step back during this crazy time and appreciate what is unfolding. Because what's happening up in the basketball world of the Bay Area would truly be special. I think if the NBA were scripted, then Adam Silver would absolutely make sure this happens. Adam Silver would absolutely make sure that both LeBron James and Anthony Davis head to Golden State, and then we'd see the Warriors and the Knicks in the NBA Finals next year. That would feed not just families, it would feed generations of families. But anyway, that would happen simultaneously to this 49ers team, which is an extremely interesting roster given how lopsided the age averages are. Again, the third youngest defense and the oldest offense. The offense has to be the horse that pulls the cart for San Francisco, at least until that defense gets settled in under Raheem Morris. And I've said this many times, and I'll take this big picture look again. If the 49ers can improve their defense into the top 15, they were number 21 last year. If they can move into the top 15 with this younger blood, with this new defensive coordinator, they've got a chance. Because I think that the offensive old heads, and with obviously the younger Brock Purdy leading the way for San Francisco, I think that offense is going to be a top 3 offense for San Francisco this year. The 49ers were number 6 last year, despite the fact that they couldn't generate separation at wide receiver, despite all of those injuries. They had to use 2 quarterbacks over the course of the season. Health permitting, this could be an explosive top 3 offense for the 49ers. And then the goal is to pair it with a top half defense, and all of a sudden, you've got a chance. If it's a top 10 defense paired with a top 3 offense, well, then you're probably the Super Bowl favorite. If the Warriors pull this off, I don't know where they'd be. I think that it'd be a grand experiment. I think of the 2004 Lakers. They had Karl Malone, right? I know they lost in the NBA Finals, so that didn't quite work out with Malone, Gary Payton joining Kobe and Shaq. But football and basketball are both different, and I think that the 49ers youth movement on the defensive side of the ball definitely sets them up for a very, very interesting run. We just can hope that LeBron James is on the sideline to watch it. And maybe part of it will be Anthony Davis wearing Packers gear, watching his Green Bay team lose to the 49ers at Levi's in the playoff again. Parting thought on a full circle note. Back in 2015, when Christian McCaffrey was up the road at Stanford, smashing records, over 3,800 all-purpose yards that year for Stanford. Should have won the Heisman Trophy. I made a lot of comparisons between McCaffrey and Steph Curry, who was currently in his first title-winning year with the Warriors. Both undersized players, both magicians on the field, both making history, both changing their respective sports. Curry with his three-point shooting, McCaffrey with his adaptability. How cool would it be if over a decade later, we saw both of them nearing the ends of their careers in the Bay Area, winning a championship in the same season? And if the Warriors pick up LeBron James and Anthony Davis, well, that's very possible. I think the 49ers have already made all the pickups necessary to make that very, very possible as well.
Did you envision this being it, or
Probably.
Yeah. What's that thought like then when you put
Scary. It's scary. You know, I'm toying between the idea of going till I can't no more and just, you know, leaving while I still got some good product left, you know, and not getting ran out the league. So, you know, it's been a long time, and had a daughter that she was born a few months before I got drafted. So, you know, I'm going on year 17. She's turning 17. So, you know, you just, as a father, you feel like, you know, damn, I done kind of sat and really kind of missed her whole life. I mean, kind of, you know, from until adulthood. So, you know, part of me wants to, you know, when she go off to college in a couple of years, I want to, you know, be there and be accessible, and, you know, I don't want to be that father that, you know, shadows the kid, but I'm gonna be close. You know what I mean? I want to be close. I don't want to be somewhere at a joint practice. You know what I mean? When it's time for her to move into school and stuff like that. So it's little stuff I got to think about, and, you know, obviously, can't tell the future. I don't know. I'm still a competitor. It's hard not to compete when you can. So we'll see.